You know, down here, where you can feel the pulse of our digital world, we're surrounded by systems that were truly designed to endure. And today, we're going to explore exactly how to build them. We're talking about creating technology that can last for decades. It's a philosophy called radical resilience, and it all starts with understanding the real hidden cost of moving too fast. So our journey begins in a place that's probably pretty familiar, but it's also a treacherous one: the culture of speed. For years, right, the tech world has been completely obsessed with velocity. But, as the digital storms gather and you can almost feel the shadows here flicker and deepen, we're all starting to see the hidden dangers that come with building things too quickly. This. This has been the guiding mantra for a whole generation of builders. It champions speed above everything else, really. It treated software like it was disposable. But you have to ask, what happens when the things you break are the very foundations your business is built on? Is that philosophy really built to last? And this right here gives a name to that hidden cost: technical debt. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a loan you're taking out against your software's future. Every shortcut, every quick fix, that just adds to the principal. And eventually, believe me, the interest payments on that debt become completely crippling. And this illustrates the core problem just perfectly. A system that's built only for speed is like a tree that just shoots up way too quickly but has no deep roots. Yeah, it looks impressive for a little while, but it is dangerously fragile. The moment the first real market storm or cyber threat hits, it's the first one to fall. So, if that's the problem, then what's the solution? Well, it's all about a fundamental shift in mindset. It's about moving from building something fast to building something that, well, simply can't be shaken. Let's take a look at how to build a really strong foundation. And here it is. This is the heart of radical resilience. The goal isn't to be slow, it's to be deliberate. It's about engineering for the long haul, creating systems that are so deeply rooted they become fundamentally, truly unshakable. Which, of course, brings us to the crucial question. If we're not just chasing speed anymore, what are we chasing instead? How do you actually go about constructing one of these unshakable foundations in the real world? Well, it starts with a pretty counterintuitive idea. You have to embrace boring technology. Now, why on earth would you do that? Because boring is predictable. See, when you use mature, well-established tools, their failure modes, all the ways they can break, are already known. There's a massive community and tons of documentation ready to help you out. You're building on solid rock, not shifting sand. And here's a really powerful tool for making that choice. It's called the 10-year test. Before you go build in your core infrastructure on some brand new, flashy framework, just ask this one simple question. Is it likely that anyone will still know how to support this thing in a decade? This test forces you to think like a long-term architect, not a short-term sprinter. Okay, let's move on to our next pillar and see how this all builds up: security. A resilient system doesn't just bolt on security at the very end. No, it grows security from its very core, weaving it into the architecture, just like the glowing root systems you see pulsing in the pillars all around us. This slide shows the difference perfectly. Traditional security, that's like a big castle wall. It seems strong on the outside, but once an attacker gets over it, the entire city is vulnerable. Resilient security, on the other hand, is more like a root system. It's built in, it's distributed, and it's designed so that if one part is compromised, the rest of the structure holds firm. It's all about being proactive, not reactive. The key principle that makes all of this possible is something called fault isolation. This just means you design your system in sealed compartments. That way, a fire in one room doesn't burn down the whole house. A failure in one tiny module gets contained and doesn't cascade into a catastrophic system-wide outage. Now, this robust foundation isn't just for defense. It's actually the only way to achieve sustainable growth. So many systems collapse under the weight of their own success. Radical resilience ensures you can scale without breaking. And the key architectural pattern here is modularity. Think of it like building with Legos. Instead of trying to carve something from a single giant block of stone, you create these smaller, self-contained components that can be replaced or upgraded or scaled independently. And that gives you incredible precision and control as you grow. And the data absolutely proves it. Get this, according to the 2024 DORA report, teams using these modular architectures restore service over 6,500 times faster after a failure.
That's not just a small improvement, that's a complete paradigm shift in what we call reliability. Now, on the flip side, just look at the cost of outdated monolithic architectures. As much as 80% of the entire IT budget can be completely consumed just by maintenance, literally just keeping the lights on. That leaves a tiny little fraction for innovation and actually building the future. It's a classic textbook example of technical debt strangling a business. So let's bring it all together. As the light here starts to stabilize and brighten, you can see the result. When you combine that boring tech, security by design, and a modular architecture, you get the long game advantage. You end up building a system that isn't just surviving, but is actually thriving. But even the best designs face this constant, invisible enemy, architectural entropy. It's like a natural law of software. Over time, as changes are made and new features get added, systems just tend to drift towards chaos and complexity. The architecture starts to decay. So, how do you fight back against that? Well, not with some massive, risky overhaul. You fight it with disciplined, continuous effort. You refactor in small, incremental steps. You invest in automation to enforce consistency. And you maintain transparency, constantly checking to make sure the system you have is still the system you planned to build in the first place. And that brings us to the final and most crucial point. Radical resilience is a choice. It's the choice to invest in the foundation today to ensure you can survive tomorrow. So the question this leaves us with isn't whether a storm is coming, but whether we've built something strong enough to withstand it when it does.